Today, we're just going to talk briefly about friendships and almost like a visual type tool that you can use to think about, am I a good friend or is my friend being a good friend? Because sometimes it can be hard to know. We all want to feel loved, accepted, we all want to feel valued. And so, we in order to be a good friend, we have to give that to others. We also need that in return in order for it to be a good friend. We need trusting relationships, and we need to find people who have that same mentality and who honor that. And so what I'll sometimes have kids do is write down the things, like the qualities that they want in a friend. And when they look at that, then I ask, like, are those the qualities that you show in your friendship? And that's something, again, we have to be open to taking a hard look and seeing and being honest with ourselves if we're falling short on that. It can be easy for us to maybe get information about a friend and then another friend asks about it. And it can be easy to share that with them because we were in an intimate connection with one person and we feel like we can trust the next person, and then we tell them, and then how do we feel after we ended up telling that? Usually it creates a lot of anxiety because we're worried, are they going to be able, can I trust them? Should I have told them? That other friend told me in confidence, and now I feel like I broke their trust. Those things happen, and so we have to be aware of that. Why, just even thinking about why do I have that tendency, if that's a tendency that you have, to end up sharing secrets from our friends? And if that's something that you do, then that's something that we have to work on, right? Because otherwise your friends won't see you as trustworthy. Same if you have a friend that you maybe share something personal and you don't want them to tell, and they do consistently, it doesn't make them a bad person. It just means that that's probably not somebody that you should be sharing some of your secrets with until they get whatever it is going on worked through, so they're not prone to be doing those things. Because otherwise you set yourself up almost to have those things occur, and that's not fair to you, and it's not fair to your friend who's doing that. So something, I'll have like a mental visual. It's just the way my brain works. And so sometimes I think it's helpful to have, like, if you had 2 jars and you had marbles, and it could be anything. Let's call them M&Ms. I don't know. But you have something and you're going to put these things, let's call them rocks, because then we can have different size. So you have these two jars, and you have these different sized rocks, and you have like good friendship qualities, not so good friendship qualities, and those are labeled on your jars. Every time your friend does something that shows as a good friendship quality, they call just to check on you, you really feel heard, they are funny, whatever it might be. So you can put those rocks, and some are bigger than others, right? You have different values of what you want in a friendship. So some of them are bigger. They like this show, I don't know, it's music that you really like, goes in the good friendship qualities. Then you might see some things that, like, that I don't want to see, like they haven't heard from them in 2 weeks, so then you kind of balance it out, and so you're able to kind of get a visual of, like, is this a good friendship? And knowing there's always going to be rocks in the things that we might not want, because they're human, just like our friends would do the same for us. Like if they were kind of looking at our friendship, how many times could we do better in a friendship? We all can do better. So that's something to be aware of. That doesn't mean that this jar should be empty. It just should mean that the good qualities are a lot more and bigger than the qualities that aren't. What I see a lot of times with students is that, or humans, is we put our trust in somebody because maybe we feel lonely, maybe we're so seeking for connection and understanding and whatever, and just friendship. We want it so badly that we put our trust into somebody, and maybe we divulge too much information too soon, and that's something that can happen. We have to be aware of that, like those boundaries that we have over sharing too much. And we do that, and then that person goes and tells other people, or they betray your trust. But it's because we didn't let that friendship kind of evolves to the point where you know that you've built that trust. Like you've built like this, the firm foundation. You can look at it like a tree. That's what we do a lot in yoga, is looking at things with the tree, because the tree has to have that rooted, that firm foundation, that grounding, the root structure super, super strong, so that it can bloom up. The trunk can be solid and then bloom up into like this beautiful, huge tree, right? That produces year after year. If you have a fragile, like not deep root structure, a storm's going to come and it's going to fall over. So we have to allow that time. And so sometimes we can jump the gun and we can think, and this can happen a lot in like romantic relationships too, where we give too much too soon and then later regret it because we pushed forward. We wanted it so badly, we weren't able to see it kind of neutrally, and that bird's eye view that we talked about in the other video. So we need to be able to give it the time that it needs to really show itself. Like, is this going to be a good relationship for me? Does this person share the same values that I do? Is this person showing me the values that are important to me? But also, we can take it from the flip side, because if you have a friend who's upset with you, we can evaluate and see, well, where maybe have I let my values down? Where maybe were there more rocks in the friendship jar that wasn't good for our relationship? And so being able to see it from both ways and evaluating that, because that's important. Just that, again, the awareness and the intention that we can bring to ourselves and any relationship will create that strong rooted structure to let things grow. So when things happen, you're able to have an open, honest conversation about, I'm sorry I did this and I realized it was blah, blah, blah. Like, it was because blah, and instead of blaming. Or you can confront and have a real conversation with a friend. I noticed that you are blah, 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 and this makes me feel blah, blah, blah. So you guys can work through that. Okay, I think that about wraps that one up. And we'll see you tomorrow.